Awesome.
Good day. This is another episode of Leave It to Chef. As I was saying before we started, nothing could be more intense than last week where lost power, my backup power system kicked on, lost internet, then got on my phone. Luckily, then on my phone, my sound didn't work. All right. Enough problems. Let's focus on actually making good food and eating good food. And I heard you're going to sneak in a drink in here too.
Yep.
Right close to the beginning.
Just like, I mean, that's the whole premise of slow food. You know, Slow Food International is you spend a couple hours with your friends and family cooking and eating. And, you know, there's the cleaning part too, but
a little bit of drinking.
Yeah, if you do a little camaraderie, the cleaning part happens more frequently.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose this dish.
I'll talk about food first. Like drink first or food first. So my name's Nikki Davis, and I recognize a few of you, and my mom's on here, my consummate fan. With the exception of you. You're my second biggest fan. First biggest, I don't know. Anyway.
Are you saying your mom's a big person? Watch it.
She's my big fan, I can tell you that. And I've got a couple other friends on here, and then I recognize some faces from the last time I was with you guys. So thank you for having us back. I by day am a professor at SIU, Southern Illinois University, in the hospitality program. I don't currently teach food courses because we have a culinary person doing that, but I used to teach all the food courses. And I've taught kids and adults of all ages how to cook and how to do cool things with food and all sorts of fun stuff. I'm also a family historian by hobby. I've been doing that since I was, 15 or so. And that history buff side of me combined with the food nerd side of me kind of makes this perfect storm for food history.
I actually looked up on ancestry.com, and apparently my dad lived in every house on this one block.
Oh gosh.
Like, you know, he just kept moving one house.
As the rent,
He's like, I looked it up and I was just like,
as the rent goes up, you move down the block.
He was trying to work his way out of that block, I guess. I mean, eventually.
That's funny. That's you can find out a lot of information just off of some basic records, but all of that kind of got me interested in the food that's part of my own family heritage. And I'm a mutt, just like all of the dogs that you're going to see roaming around in the kitchen at some point tonight. My grandmother is German. In fact, 3 of my grandparents were German. And then I have one lonely grandpa that had red hair because he was from a Scottish background. So it's too hot in the summertime to cook traditional German food. So I am playing towards the Scottish roots, but not necessarily something that my family grew up eating. I grew up eating a lot of shrimp because my mom and dad loved it. And my mom loved cooking it. But this isn't necessarily a passed down recipe. But it is, where'd my cookbook go? The other thing you should know about me is I am a cookbook collector. Yes, were you going to make a comment?
Well, I have a cookbook hoarder, maybe. I don't know. She's a little bit more than a collector.
Well,
I could probably give you one of these. So I had this one. This is all about good, and it's like probably some church in Louisiana.
Oh yeah.
And I found this at some thrift store.
We find
and then a local friend of mine gave me her grandma's version of it.
Oh wow.
With all the papers.
Well used.
So
yeah.
if you want, I could give you the nice copy because I've got the one that's got all the notes and stuff in it.
Add to my collection. I have a fellow blogger friend who actually converted her basement into a cookbook cellar of sorts, and it's set up like a library. She has so many, so I'm not that bad yet, but
1967 Louisiana, how to make crocodile and rabbit and
Might be.
Oh, crocodile sounds good. So I've had this for ever and a day. It's not an old cookbook, but it's one that focuses on traditional food heritage in Scotland, specifically, and a little bit of a hitch over to more of a Scandinavian territory.
So why are we
So-
making shrimp instead of like the
Well-
parts you throw away?
Right. So my plan was to do this with langoustines, which are harvested off of the coast of Scotland, but getting them in Southern Illinois is like not happening.
So langoustine is like a shrimp, or what is it?
Lobster.
It's like a spiny lobster.
Okay.
And the closest you can come where we live is a langoustino, which is not quite the same thing. It's more like a shrimp than a spiny lobster. So I figured just to keep things easy and accessible to anyone who wants to join, jumbo shrimp would be the good substitute. So the couple of recipes that I'm going to share with you tonight are from this cookbook, adapted for ingredients that we have locally and cooking methods that we have locally in our home kitchens.
Well, that's my
And-
favorite thing about a recipe. For me, a
Yeah.
recipe is inspiration, not specific instructions.
And then Chili chose a Scandinavian drink
Yep.
that I'll let you talk about.
So
sorry.
what I did is I went out and I looked at all of these different things, and I was like, because I was thinking we were going to do Scandinavian. So
That's
I
close.
picked my drink, and it's based upon a Coast Canova blueberry juniper vodka. So
What?
we don't have that here.
Yeah, I was
Coast
just
Canova is
like-
the brand.
It's a blueberry juniper vodka. So the closest I could get was just
Good old Smirnoff.
Smirnoff's blueberry vodka. So we're going to use
Like-
blueberry vodka. So I am not anywhere nearly as talented in the kitchen as Nikki is. I just kind of do this for fun and enjoyment and
Don't we all?
and to get my belly unemptied. So,
In other words, full.
yeah. So we just need a big pitcher with some ice in it. So we'll start her on up. We're making for 2 people. So we want 6 ounces of blueberry vodka.
Now, I was going to tilt that camera, but it's fine.
That's fine.
Oh, it smells good.
Yeah, it smells like blueberries.
Wow, it does. I've never had the blueberry. Mercy.
And then to add the juniper, because we didn't have juniper vodka,
We can't find the.
we can't find that. So we're just going to add an ounce. Now let's go half an
Yeah.
ounce. Half an
Yeah.
ounce of just Bombay Sapphire dry gin.
That's
Get
where
the-
junipers come
Exactly.
Mhm.
from.
To get the juniper. It was
It's a
easier
big-
than infusing the
There's a
vodka.
big thing on gin these days. They got bars that got like 20 kinds of gin and stuff like that. I don't know.
About 8 ounces of OJ.
Wow.
Blueberry and OJ. This is dessert.
It is.
It is. It's going to be good.
It just like, I think the new, I don't know the new trend, but my trend for drinking
It's good.
is make it taste like there's no alcohol in it.
Yes.
I think, well, that's kind of scary for us because then it goes down real easy.
Then 8 ounces of cranberry juice. And we have diet.
Wait a
cranberry
second,
juice.
you're just making fruit punch, cranberry, orange juice, and blueberry.
Well, hang on. Wait, don't stir it. Show them what it does. Well, if they can see it, yeah, because it layers
Ooh.
itself.
Ooh.
But OJ and cranberry juice, those are healthy things,
Those
right?
are healthy things.
We'll go with that.
We're offsetting all of the butter that we're going to use.
Yes, we
All the
are.
butter. That's true. We're gonna use a lot of butter in
We
this.
are using a lot of butter.
Well, not really. One stick.
I know.
It's pretty
That's
low
a
as
lot.
What are you
far.
wanting? You want this?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
All right. I think my shrimps are almost off.
Do you want ice in those glasses?
Nah. I'll drink mine fast enough. I don't need ice.
Oh, righty then.
If you want ice, then
I would love some ice in mine. Thank you. Would you like a straw for yours?
and then we did up some cherries, a cherry and blueberry.
Stick that in there. Thank you.
Ooh.
Nice.
Cheers.
There we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
What was this
Good
called?
job.
This is called a checkers.
I have no idea why it's called that.
Yeah.
But this is common in Denmark or Norway?
Oh, it's Norway.
Norway.
This sounds like common for breakfast.
Yeah.
Into
Just
that.
like, get your orange juice and cranberry juice for breakfast.
It's very good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's dangerous.
It is.
She's like,
Cheers.
all right.
So if you guys,
That's the
missed
proper
that.
way of starting a Scottish meal.
yeah,
You have a drink and then start cooking.
I mean, I could break out some scotch too, but it's okay. This is just kind of our thing when we cook live on Facebook, and we do that weekly. Monday nights now. We were doing Thursdays, and summertime.
Ooh, if it's
and
Monday
Carbondale
nights, I
Thursdays.
could come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thursdays.
switch.
This was turning out to be a bad night all the way around. So we shifted last week to Mondays at 6:30 Central on Facebook. We start every one of those with a drink that goes with whatever we're cooking, and basically show people how to cook dinner, kind of like we're going to do tonight.
Yep.
Within 45 minutes to an hour or more. Sometimes if we talk too much.
if we get a little chatty, it goes over an
Too
hour.
much drinks.
The more we drink, the chattier we get.
I was not able to get fresh tarragon anywhere. I went to 5 places in town. Apparently, I didn't even find a slot on the shelf. So apparently some of the places, once they sell out, take the sign down or
Take
something.
it all down.
I don't know. I did get some dried tarragon.
Okay.
And then I got from the farmer's market, I got this stuff, thyme.
Rosemary. Is that
Is that rosemary?
No.
That's rosemary. I don't know why I always call it thyme.
You can actually both of those. And did you get fennel? Did you tell me you got fennel too?
Yeah, I got
Yeah. Okay.
a whole.
So we'll
root
talk about
thingy.
some of the variations, because the way I'm fixing the shrimp is not at all the way it's supposed to be fixed.
But sounds like you're like me. Like a recipe is inspiration.
Yeah,
it is.
that's all it is.
Now the one thing that I've never done is you said to get lettuce hearts, and I've never cooked lettuce.
I usually grill lettuce when I do cook it, but this is a completely different way to use those leafy greens. But yeah, it's just like cooking any other dark leafy green. If you've got romaine, or I actually found the gem lettuce at our Schnucks here in town. So actually you found it
I found it.
a while ago. Was surprised that they even had it. We're going to start with the shrimp, and this goes
I almost
pretty
bought
quick.
the uncooked shrimp because most shrimp you buy are cooked already. People are weirded out when they see shrimp that's uncooked because it's like this weird gray color.
So you might go a little faster than I did because I have the raw. So actually, why don't you shift me over to
above the stove or the other one?
All right,
the other
let's
one
go
so they
down the
can see better.
ingredients list here. I'll go down it quick here. We're making 2 things, right? Yeah. We're making
we're gonna
shrimp
start
and
with the
garlic
shrimp.
butter, which is basically shrimp, butter, garlic, some salt and parsley, and lemons.
And some lemon, and that's what we're going to start with. Are you and I the only ones cooking? Everybody else is
There's a
just
couple
watching?
other people cooking too.
Lulu's
they?
cooking.
Okay.
Looks like
Okay.
Lulu's cooking.
Excellent. I can't see everybody.
Lulu's cooking.
Excellent. Okay.
Cooking with heat.
So we're going to start with the shrimp first. And if I go too fast, please stop me and tell me.
All right.
I actually have white shrimp and red shrimp. And the biggest difference is these guys are a little bit sweeter and a little bit milder. When red shrimp cook up, they cook up a little bit firmer, and they're not quite as sweet as the white.
I really like the red shrimp. The flavor, you actually get a shrimp flavor.
Yeah. And these actually are almost a little bit more reminiscent of the langoustines, to be honest with you, in flavor. So from that perspective, it works out. But these are both raw. So I might move a little bit slower on the cook than if you've got already cooked shrimp, but already cooked shrimp is fine. We went ahead and removed the shell and the tail from these. So hopefully you guys have done that. If not, you'll want to
have
start
one
doing
where
that.
you could show people how to do it. Or
You know what? I had planned to do that, and I totally didn't. By the time we got them all peeled, I'd forgotten to.
We went too fast.
Yeah, the one thing
I
I
move
learned
pretty
is if
quick,
you
yeah.
crack the tail and then just kind of squeeze it, it
Mhm.
pushes it out.
So these are already deveined. So when you get these already deveined, that means the back of the shell's already been cut and split
Yeah.
open. So it's real easy to just kind of pull that apart and then pinch the tail, like right here, pinch the tail and pull, and the whole shell should come clean off.
Yep.
That's the easiest. If you get them where the shell's already, where it's not split and they're not deveined, you'll want to run a pair of scissors up the back of them like this, which is what they've done here. And you'll see the black vein. You'll just pull that out and then be able to peel from there. Or just buy them already done. I mean, you can, most markets now, you can find them already.
And most of them you
deveined,
can
peeled.
get them already peeled and
Yeah.
or already cooked.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
deveined.
And that's fine
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
If you get them already cooked, all of this is going to go all the faster. Okay, so I'm going to leave those there. And if you want to put me over the stove, cameraman,
I'm working on it.
I even sprung for
Yeah, you're
Irish
gonna have to
butter.
come teach me how to do your. I just got 2 cameras.
Well, I use a virtual camera, so we run all of this through separate software.
Nice.
Okay, so I sprung for Kerrygold for this one because it's a little bit sweeter cream butter.
It's Irish.
Yep.
It is.
All right.
And
Do I
it's-
put the whole thing in the pan?
Put the whole stick in, yeah. And I may end up using a little bit more because I've got 2 pounds of shrimp.
Now, does it matter if it's salted or unsalted?
For this, no,
Yeah, 'cause
it really doesn't.
I didn't think it did, but I thought I'd ask.
Not much, but typically if you're going to cook with it, you want to use unsalted so that you can add salt too.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
and it doesn't overpower your.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
but if
some
you
of
got
us are
salted,
on low salt diets also.
very much, yeah.
I keep all my butter in the freezer, so luckily I remember to take this
To
out.
take it out,
and
yeah.
thaw it
Yeah,
out.
me too.
Because I just noticed that we need a little bit for the second recipe, and that's frozen solid still. But we just need a little bit.
Yeah, I just was gonna let it melt down a little bit. So I'm gonna move my shrimp. And I'm gonna use a couple cloves, probably 4 cloves of garlic because I've got twice the amount of shrimp. If you're using just a pound of shrimp, a couple cloves is fine unless you just really like garlic.
Yeah, I've been recently. I found International Grocery has these garlic cloves already peeled, and I've been just every morning
Yep.
putting like 6 of them in fat and frying them, and that's like, and then if I'm gonna do eggs or I just eat them.
Yeah. Here in town, I can get this. Shoot, I can't get them open.
Oh wait, are you?
Already peeled
Yep.
from the fresh food store. So if you're
Yep.
lucky enough to find this will hold fine in your refrigerator, and the amount that we can buy locally.
And if you do, you could do it, peel them yourself. And I recommend
Sure.
coating them slightly with a little oil, and they'll last for like a month in the fridge.
Yeah. Actually, that one's.
So are you just putting the whole ones, or are you mincing them, or?
Nope, I'm gonna mince them. If you've got a garlic press, that'll be fine. Otherwise, a knife, cut them up real fine, will be fine. I have.
Now with garlic, I like to just squish them, and then they're a lot easier to mince. But
I like a Xylus garlic press.
I bought a garlic press, and I've like never used it. It's such a hassle to clean. And unless I'm doing like 10 or more cloves, I never use it.
If you like, if you're okay with sliced garlic, just slice it up. It won't necessarily melt like it does when it's minced,
Oh.
but
I guess, yeah, if you mince it, it'll almost disappear, right?
yeah, it almost disappears. You want more garlic than that?
Fred, this is where you can use your garlic paste.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We like that too. Ooh, this is pungent garlic.
Good garlic.
All right. I've got mine at just like medium heat, just barely, not
Yeah,
even
that'll
medium,
work.
barely on, because
Yep, I
Actually,
think
I'm
we're
gonna
on
need that.
low.
butter tends to burn.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you don't want it to necessarily get brown. And
Have you ever had brown butter ice cream?
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
I had that for the first time, and I was like, wow.
All right, I've already peeled a little bit of lemon juice, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in, about a
How do you
tablespoon.
peel a lemon juice?
Peel, God.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I've
So,
already
are you just cutting it in half
Squeeze.
and then squeezing it in, or?
I'd already done some, so yeah, you can cut them in half. I was gonna save one to zest later. But cut it in half, and if you squeeze it facing up in your hands, you won't have seeds, shouldn't have seeds fall into your pan. I'm gonna switch back.
Good,
to
and
the
I always
pan.
have them fall in. Yeah. I don't know what I do wrong, but I always. All right. Yep. Where's a spoon? I need to get that one seed out already.
I've lost my tongs.
There you go.
The way this is actually traditionally, this is, you can do
We'll
this
put
as an appetizer, is what I'm trying to say, and make a compound butter with the garlic and parsley and some salt or not salt, and do these under the broiler with that butter, just kind of a tablespoon of the butter on a couple of shrimp.
Are we
To make
putting
it-
all the lemon juice from 2 lemons in?
I would start with just one, about a tablespoon is what I put in.
Okay. So basically we've got butter, garlic, and lemon juice in there, and then start cooking the shrimp in it.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you've ever had shrimp scampi, this is pretty similar. What we're missing mostly here is the wine and the broth that goes into the scampi.
Do I have to take them one at a time out there, or can I just dump the whole bag?
Just dump the whole thing in. I was just trying to make it pretty.
But I think there's how you did it though makes it so you don't get the moisture that's in the bottom of the bag.
Yeah.
So it might be less moisture, but
Yeah, less water.
And the less water you can, the better. And if you dump them into a colander and then use a paper towel to kind of squeeze out some of that moisture, that's even
Too
better
late.
because they'll get brown, good and brown. Too late's okay too. And I'm sitting on about medium heat, and it's going to take a minute to do these, and I've got another batch. So we're going to sit here for a moment.
Oh,
you're
it's
really
question.
just trying to.
Yeah.
Well, in my case, they're already cooked. You're just trying to flavor them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But am I also trying to reduce the sauce down to very little? Because it's pretty moistured.
Well, and you're going to have some moisture from your shrimp. So yes, you'll want to reduce it down. When you cook the raw, it's going to soak up that butter and kind of reduce as it cooks. So you're not going to have much sauce left.
All right.
And it doesn't take them long. I've lost my tongs again.
The shrimps, I mean, from raw usually takes what, like 3 minutes?
Yeah.
That's the one thing you have to be really careful to overcook your shrimp.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. When I get the second batch in, I'll shift over and we'll talk about some of the vegetables. I can't talk and flip at the same time, clearly.
I can flip.
Here, you flip. I'll start on some
Must
vegetables.
have put too much lemon. Or
This is smelling
mine
so
quit.
good.
Mine quit boiling.
It does smell good.
I put too much shrimp in or something. I put it all in.
That's okay.
Well, your
Just let it
water may have
reduce
been
down.
cold.
I do
So-
not have parsley. Is there a acceptable substitute?
Dried parsley or no parsley at all, or some rosemary. Yeah, rosemary might overpower. Oregano would be good.
You just want a green flavor, right?
Yeah, I mean dried parsley would be fine too if you have that in your pantry.
I do.
Yeah, that's perfect. And for a pound of shrimp, I'd use a couple tablespoons to start.
We're not putting that in yet. Okay.
So while those are finishing up my first batch. This goes real fast. In fact, I probably could have started the vegetables first, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to melt half a stick of butter in my other pan. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not worried about.
I probably should switch pans because we'll make the vegetables in a bigger pan. For me.
And you guys tell me when you're good to move on to vegetables.
I'm ready.
Okay, then I'll shift gears here. All right, so I'm going to start with the onions and then asparagus and then snow peas and then the bib lettuce, gem lettuce at the very end. Tell me, I know you have fennel. Does anybody have anything else besides?
So mine is, this is just what I had. I didn't go to the store. I have
Okay.
zucchini, spinach, and broccoli. But I don't know. They're
No, that's
tender.
you'll want to cut your broccoli relatively small and start with that first because it's going to take the longest to cook. And then put in your lighter, leafier vegetables towards the end.
Flip these back over.
Yeah, that's fine. A nice crust on them will be perfect. Okay, so I have green onions and a couple of tips and tricks with green onions. I've gone ahead and trimmed off the tops of these so I can just use to the end. I've also cut off a couple of the stems that were a little bit floppy. If you buy them and they're rubber banded together like this, leave this bottom rubber band off or on, excuse me, because it makes it easy to trim this end off of all of them at the same time. And we don't need those.
Now this is something I tend to save all my veggie scraps to make veggie broth.
Yeah, and you can do that with the ends of the green onions. We're going to use, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use all of them because we'll eat these.
That's my style.
3 days,
I was
yeah.
just like, oh, it only calls for this much, but I don't need it for anything else. Let's just use it all.
Well, and the vegetables I'm using would be really good in an omelet tomorrow. I mean, so
That's true.
I'll over make. So the recipe calls for 5. I'm using 7. No big deal. And I'm going to cut these on kind of a bias. And when I do that, I start them off uneven because I'm going to kind of cut uneven.
Let's see how. Oh, okay, cool.
And I'm doing bite-sized pieces, yeah. And as much of the green as you want.
So
And I'm going
stagger them to start out with.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they end up
and
being-
I do that because it's just easier to start at that angle. And I'm gonna throw these in my half of stick of butter that's already going. I'm gonna do,
They're right there.
yep. I've already prepped my snow peas, and these are really young and tender, so I didn't do too much to them, but I did trim off the ends where the little stem pieces. So,
Or if they have the little strings on them.
or if they have a string,
Don't
just
have
like you would
strings,
with green beans, you know, pop them and then pull that string off. But these are so young and tender, I wasn't too worried about it. So I'm going to go ahead and add these. Okay. Asparagus.
I need to check and see how tender that is. It's really tender.
When you buy a bunch of asparagus, or if you bring it home from the farmer's market or out of your garden, if you are lucky enough to be able to grow it, keep it in some wide mouth mason jar, a Quattro's cup. I mean, whatever you've got that you can slide these down into, with about 1 inch of water at the bottom, and that will keep them fresh and usable for a while in your refrigerator. And this recipe actually only calls for the tips of the asparagus, but I'm going to use a little bit more than that. So with asparagus, if you've ever seen a food show where they break each stem like this, one at a time, what they're doing is breaking this at the point where the woody end becomes the tender stalk of asparagus. And that's kind of the natural breaking point there. When I've got a bunch that I'm working with, I don't do one at a time. I do one, and then I line them up, and then I cut the rest of them at about the same place.
So smart. So how many we
Good
need
idea.
of this? Like 6 or 7? I guess it
Sure.
matters how big they are, right?
I prefer the skinny over the big fat asparagus for something like this because they cook quicker. Yeah, and they are. I think they're sweeter, but that could just be me. Here, let's put them in this.
So what are we doing about? I'm trying to count how many you have.
Oh,
Like
hang
7
on.
to 10 of them.
I just grabbed a handful, so I've got like 10 of them.
You want me to like this or just don't?
I need the butter for the next batch. So, and I'm going to cut these in half so they're bite size. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I also don't like my asparagus cooked too much. I like it on the crunchy side.
So we're pulling our shrimp.
Yeah, batch 1 of shrimp is done.
All right. Did you put the asparagus in?
Yes, asparagus is in. Whew,
And I've got it like almost at the lowest setting.
that's fine. We're going to steam it here in a little bit. So,
All right. So I've got butter, green onions, sweet peas, and asparagus in there.
oh, but we really need butter, except for we're burning some here. I'm going to use a little bit more butter for my next batch of shrimp, but if you're just doing one batch of shrimp, ignore what I'm doing. Yes, you want more garlic? And
More, yeah.
the husband has requested more garlic.
Yeah, I used to do that when I'd get that container of garlic. I'd bring it home and I would just roast it all when I get a container of fresh garlic like that. All right. So what else do I have to put in these vegetables?
Right. So
Garlic,
if you've got,
I didn't put any garlic.
yes, more garlic.
Sure.
Do.
We have to keep away the vampires.
It, or not. I mean, if you want more garlic in it, feel free. And if you don't, that's fine too.
Well, I didn't put any yet, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
Okay.
So
So
start putting these in.
do you
batch 2 of
think this
shrimp's
is like
gone in.
an early summer dish? Because a lot of these vegetables seem
Yeah.
come out right at the beginning of summer.
So I have fresh tarragon, and I'm just going to pull the leaves off. I'm not going to chop it because I actually like how this looks in the vegetable dish when it's all said and done.
And I don't have that, so I've got
So,
parsley, fennel, and rosemary.
okay, so do you have a fennel bulb or fennel this in a jar?
Bowl.
Right. Okay, so you'll want to use the fronds of your fennel bulb as the herb, and if you want fennel in your vegetables, you can go ahead and like slice that really thin and add it to your vegetables if you want that.
So just the frond, though.
Yeah,
Or
use the frond in place of the herb. Yeah,
Okay, not the whole thing.
no. Fennel replaces the licorice flavor that the tarragon has.
All right. I'm gonna mince this really small, or what'd you think? Probably.
Hang on, let me look and see.
I always do that with herbs. I always tend to mince them really small.
I'm looking to see here what you're.
I feel like
Yeah,
it releases more flavor.
Yes, when you bruise the herb, it's going to release some flavor. And I'm going to reserve a little bit of what I'm doing for later.
Okay.
So I have some fresh on top.
I think I should do that with the fennel too.
Sure.
Save just a little bit.
Ooh, this smells good.
I think that's a good habit of when you put certain herbs in to try to save a little bit.
Yeah.
Just at the end, maybe not so much as flavor, but maybe just as decoration.
Right. So on these, here's a good sized tarragon leaf. I'll probably just rough chop these and put it in. You can put it in whole, but that bite is going to be very licorice. So if you really love that flavor, put it in whole. Otherwise, chop it up a little bit more.
Chop it up.
Oh, I'm chopping. Okay.
You're chopping.
Apparently, I'm chopping.
I like it, but I don't love it.
Don't try that at home. Okay.
All right. Now, this is the part that I think is weirdest for me is you told me to get romaine hearts.
Yep.
And I've never been somebody who thought of lettuce as something you cook.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So did you get the really long romaine hearts?
These, I don't know. Not.
Okay.
I mean, they look pretty short, actually, short and stubby.
Okay, actually, yeah, that's here. I'll show you two different kinds of lettuce that I would use here that we can get locally.
Artisan romaine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like,
I can't get them open. Good grief.
Yeah, I used to always rip bags open. Now I use scissors.
All right, so here's the artisan romaine.
Yep, that's what I got.
Okay. It's quite a bit bigger than the gem lettuce that I would normally use for this. This is the little gem lettuce, yeah. Or bib lettuce would work too. Or bok choy, quite honestly. Baby bok choy would be great here too.
Ooh, I could have got that at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
That's actually funny. I can get bok choy at the farmer's market, but not lettuce.
Yeah.
Well, right now, yeah, certainly. Here, would you put that back up?
Yeah.
And really, you just want a light cook on the lettuce. You don't want this to get wilty. And I'm going to pull these outer leaves off of here because this one wasn't really the greatest looking.
You're person that wouldn't.
So are we just cooking the whole thing as a bundle, not cutting it up at all?
No, we're going to cut it in half.
Okay. Well, let's see how. Oh, you're cutting it long ways in half. All right.
Long ways in half. So if I were grilling lettuce, baby bok choy, this romaine, a grilled romaine Caesar salad is incredible, by the way.
Oh, that sounds phenomenal.
Brush this with some olive oil, a little salt, face down on the grill, and it's going to get that nice grill char here.
Even your husband will eat those vegetables.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, he most definitely.
Oh yeah, I'll eat these vegetables.
And notice I left the root end on, so this all stays together. Now, you could, with that larger artisan lettuce you've got, the romaine, you might want to quarter it again so you've got smaller pieces. Those are kind of big.
I mean, it's not very thick, though. They're not too thick, but.
I'm going to go back to the frying pan here.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I've got my vegetables at basically the lowest heat. I've just been keeping them low simmering. Oh, I guess I need to wait.
Yep, and that's perfect.
That's what ours are.
Okay, so I'm going to put these cut side down.
All right, I'm gonna try one that's completely whole and one quartered. But you're moving all the vegetables out of the way to cook it right on the pan, huh?
Yeah, and part of that's because I kind of want that char, a little bit of that char on the bottom.
Okay, then I'm gonna turn up the heat on mine.
And that's perfectly fine too. Sorry. In fact, I think I'm gonna rotate so I can put those right over the heat.
There we go.
And if you want a little,
A little bit more.
no, I'm good. a little hint of lemon on your vegetables, feel free. I think that would be lovely.
All right, I do have another lemon here. But there is a lot of moisture in it. All right.
It's because of that butter.
Butter.
Oh wait, yeah, that's not moisture. That's butter.
Exactly.
Let's see. My lid. I wanted a lid. All right, I'm going to put a lid down over my lettuce.
Okay, we're gonna
so that it
steam
softens
them.
up. Yep,
Just for a minute or so.
that's done. Yeah.
Oops.
Okay.
Not done yet.
Okay.
In about a minute.
Perfect. I am going to maneuver to find a tray for the shrimp.
Okay.
I shall return.
I'm still here.
Un momento.
All right.
I don't know if everybody's had
So
enough.
you're
of it.
you're actually browning yours. Mine, I guess, had too much moisture for me to brown them.
Not really. We're just cooking them. We're talking too much
Yeah,
and
if
not
you
paying
were,
enough attention.
well, that too. That's pretty typical for us.
So
I think while I'm at it, I'll drain that moisture out of the. Yeah, mine. See, it's got a lot of butter.
Yeah, anytime you're working with seafood, if you want that nice brown, that char, that crunch, caramelization, then always the less moisture, the better. I'm gonna rinse this off.
I probably could save all that juice and cook the rest of the asparagus in it.
You could, yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
What I have is going to reduce down into a really nice butter sauce that I'm going to pour over. When we get to that point. Yes, and I'm going to throw these other ones on real fast and let them cook real quick.
So we pull these in?
Yep.
Into this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Well, I do have some dry. I did get some dried tarragon. I'm put a little bit in there. That might overpower it with the fennel.
It's well, probably not. I'd maybe put a teaspoon in. That tarragon has a really strong licorice bite to it, and that's what your fennel is going to have also.
Yeah. But I feel like dried tarragon has almost no flavor compared
It's almost,
fresh.
yeah, dried herbs don't have quite the punch, so I don't know that you'll overpower.
All right, so let's see here.
Anybody have any questions? Kind of trying to keep watch on the chat. All right.
You're doing better than me then.
So I've got some teeny tiny shrimp I'm going to just cook off real fast that just need to be used. need to be cooked. And I will use these in tacos or something this week. And because my butter's been going so long and my garlic's been going so long, I've got this nice brown, little bit of a nutty aroma happening here. I need another pair of tongs.
I'm gonna try to catch up try to get mine to be a little more grilled like yours. Let's try it here. Take a lot of moisture out.
Hot. Oh yeah, these are beautiful. I only did one because I'm the only one that's going to eat these.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know if you guys can see how charred that is. I don't want to get it up too high. So vegetables are pretty much done. I'm going to turn mine off and kind of leave that sitting there. And this is just totally not necessary, but I'm going to hit mine with a little bit of lemon zest just to have that bright orange zest would be yummy here too. And just a little bit of the tarragon that I had left. And those are done. some of my lemon juice in. If you've got lemon juice left and you want to put it in at the very end, go ahead. If you're overly liquid, then I would hold off on that lemon juice. What do you need? Oh, cranberry. I'm sorry. Here you go. Because it smells so good. So the shrimp that I cooked for tonight was 16 to 20 count, meaning there's 16 to 20 shrimp in a pound. These little guys are more like 10 or 12 count.
30 count.
30 count. Thank you. I did that backwards in my head. I'm sorry.
That's why I said it.
Good grief. In other words, they're tiny. That's what I was thinking. Small.
I actually liked how the half lettuce came out better than the quarter.
The quarter.
The quarter seemed to wilt more
Too much.
before it got.
Oh, I'm okay. I mean, you can top it off if you want. All right, so these little guys, I'm going to pull off and just save because I will use them, like I said, in tacos or something. So recipes like this are great for that because you can just use whatever, cook more than what you need for your meal and then use the leftover for another meal.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine from an Asian country, and she thought the weirdest thing about America was leftovers. She's like, we always just cooked it and ate it, and you never had leftovers.
You know what? I do my best not to intentionally have leftovers of the same meal. I'll do this kind of stuff a lot. So I have ingredients to go into other meals, but nobody in my house likes leftovers. So I just kind of don't do it.
I don't know. I grew up where we intentionally have leftovers, and then mom wouldn't have to cook on.
Yeah.
She'd put it all together and she'd make leftover stew. And then if there was leftovers from that, she'd make it into like kind of like a meatloaf, but without meat. It would just be a bread loaf of leftovers.
It's yum.
Otherwise known as today as a garden burger.
There you go.
Lovely.
You caught me drinking. Because this is really good.
Isn't it though?
So I highly recommend the blueberry vodka and orange juice and cranberry juice.
Well, you had
That's
blueberries. Yummy. I wonder if you could just muddle some.
Could probably just muddle some in some vodka.
I had parsley. I don't think I ever put that in anything.
Oh crap! I totally forgot about the parsley. Whoops.
Too much vodka.
Yeah.
Not enough vodka.
Okay, not enough vodka. Shift me back over here, babes.
All right.
I'll put parsley in the sauce that's going over it.
I drained all the juice out, and now I'm giving that shrimp a crisp up. It comes out a lot better that way.
So I've got, I also don't mind the stems on, like the top part of the stems on the parsley. So I'm just going to rough chop this until I get to a point where the stems are a little bit too tough. And then you can take your knife and just kind of pull some of that off. The other thing I like about parsley is all these stems, send them down your garbage disposal if you have one, because it's gonna smell better than sometimes what your garbage disposal smells like.
Yeah, but or sticking it in his vegetable broth.
Vegetable, that would work
I
too.
put it in a gallon bag in the freezer until it fills up, and that becomes my veggie broth. Yeah.
Yep, that works too. If you've got more parsley than what you think you'll ever use, then chop it like this. And I freeze, let me get some cilantro out. I freeze in butter or olive oil, just in little containers. So when I'm
So it's
making
just like
something,
a quick pesto, yeah.
yeah, basically, then I can just pop this out and use it, or ice cubes and olive oil, ice cubes, I guess. All right, I'm gonna turn my heat back on if you wanna, because I totally forgot about the parsley.
So what do we do with the parsley?
All right, so if your shrimp's still in the pan, that's probably the ideal here.
Actually, it is. Refry. I'm
I've got,
crisping it up like you did.
yeah,
I
I've
took as
got,
much moisture out of it, and now I'm like giving them that golden brown thing. Yep.
and this works too because I'm just gonna pour this over the shrimp in the pan, on the platter.
Those other shrimp on here.
Yep, just pile them on
Where's the other ones at?
over there, in the blue thing.
I thought you were gonna heat these up. Reheat these up.
We'll heat them up. Throw them back in there. If not. We're gonna reheat a batch of shrimp.
These have been out for a while.
They have been. When you reheat shrimp, you just want them just barely in the pan long enough to get hot on both sides. Otherwise, they turn into rubber. I'll let you kind of watch those, and I'm going to chop up some parsley to go over the top and be real pretty. And then we're going to like have a shrimpy feast.
Heck yeah, this will be a shrimp feast.
You know,
Lots of butter.
so much
Butter
butter. I didn't say I was going to cook healthy.
Yeah, we didn't get this big from exercise
That's still
all
why.
the time, and
Not
I
eating
actually did. I started exercising and I gained 23 pounds.
muscle.
yeah.
Okie doke. That's probably fine.
All right.
I'm going to remove some things from my prep area so you guys can see the shrimp go down. Another tip, clean as you go. I have not done a good job of that tonight, but clean as you're cooking, then the cleanup at the end is not nearly quite as bad.
All right.
Oh, it smells good.
Ah,
Ah, shrimp
How can
down.
you tell it smells good?
No, 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 no. You don't want to eat that. It's too hot. Sorry.
sorry, what? Howard, what did you say?
Jeez.
Oh, she said, I opened the pan and she said it smelled good. And I was like, how can you tell at your end?
We lost a shrimp and I had a dog scoot in real fast trying to eat it.
Don't call your husband that way.
Right?
I know.
Just like, I mean, someone has to taste it while it's going.
Yeah, but it was a little warm for the dog to eat.
Yeah, it was too hot for her to. She licked the butter off the floor. I'll have to wash that later. All right.
I'm gonna put that over there on the.
Yep.
All right, I'll show it. Ready? There you go, folks.
Yeah, that's actually 2 pounds.
Yeah, see, yours are all like nice and golden and mine. So I learned something here. So definitely
Moisture.
do what you did where you were like taking them with the tongs out. And then I hate to say this, but put less butter.
It's yeah, the moisture will kill you.
Or start taking the moisture out of it. Because I did.
Not that
I
these
put the
need.
whole bag in there and then I'm having to recook them. But
So all
mean-
this really good butter, if you've got some crusty bread,
okay,
that's going to be perfect.
look at how much butter and juice I have. See? That's
Quite a bit.
how much I took out of it.
Oh wow, yeah. you have
See,
a
that's
lot.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, but
So I had a similar setup with as much butter. So I went ahead and cooked some angel hair pasta and threw some mushrooms in.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. That sounds
That
good.
is
Oh.
perfect.
I'm not wasting this. This is shrimp flavored butter right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here, let me
Oh,
let me
Lulu,
highlight
that
your
looks really
thing,
good.
Lulu, for a second.
Yeah.
Yum. That's a perfect idea. And this goes really well with pasta too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a scampi without the wine.
Okay, I threw white wine in.
There you go. That works too.
Okay. Now I know what I'm using
right,
my
I'm gonna get rid of
leftover shrimp butter for.
And then my vegetables are just it's just spinach and zucchini and the onions.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
that's
Yeah,
perfectly fine
perfect.
too.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lulu, look how that lettuce comes out.
I did not have the lettuce.
I mean, like I mean, it's. I mean,
lettuce
it
in
looks amazing. I haven't tried it yet, but
I cook lettuce in my quiches, so I have cooked lettuce. Are we eating now?
just like.
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been tasting
platter.
all along, you know, that's when I cook for myself, I don't worry about proper food handling as much. But
Yeah, I was gonna get another platter for the vegetables. Here, do you want some bread?
Not yet.
all right.
We'll put that over there then.
So we're-
Put the vegetables in, but because of the tarragon flavors, I didn't want to mix it. But in
Oopsie.
addition to this, I might have just thrown the spinach and the zucchini in with all the garlic. So I like one pot meals sometimes too.
Hey, it works. That
that
is
shrimp,
delicious.
I really like how it has that hint of lemon.
Mhm.
It's like, I mean, it tastes like it's got butter on it, but it has like that hint of lemon.
Would you like a fork, dear?
Oh no, I'm good with my fingers.
Okay.
All
He's
right.
gonna eat with his fingers.
I got the little one too. I'm good.
I don't know. Can you guys see mine?
Hold on.
Looks beautiful.
I guess I'll get the camera out, and I
Oh,
guess
that
this is the
looks
share
good.
plate. This is what
Yeah.
I'd get set in front of 2 people or me.
I'll bring that back, Warren.
Yum.
So yeah,
Oh,
the
it's good.
grilled
Yeah.
lettuce. I was like, that's really cool.
Mhm.
And I made more of it. I just went ahead and made it all.
Oh yeah.
I'm a make it all person. And
That
so,
works too.
Any final tidbits you want to do before we all sit down and eat?
I don't know. We made some more drinks, so
We did make more drinks. I've got half a loaf of French bread left from another meal.
And
That's
I
gonna-
do have like, I mean, this is how much water and butter I had from that first pound of shrimp.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I took it out and then I went back and I fried the shrimp to give them that golden.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely pour off like
Yep.
like you did. You got the tongs and you took them one at a time, so there was less moisture.
It and get as much moisture out ahead of time as you can. So pat them down with paper towels, strain them, whatever works.
Yep. So I'm doing another pound of shrimp, but these are like the little. They call them what? Salad shrimps.
Oh yeah, those little bitties. Watch
Yep,
your fingers. I'm gonna.
Yeah, and they're enhanced with a lot of water. That's why they're so bitty and
Yeah,
processed.
I'm draining all the water out now
Yeah.
like that. And then put it back on there with some butter. Just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Any final tidbits?
Nope.
Thanks for
If you've
sharing
got
for
some
this.
crusty bread, toast it up and have fun.
Yeah.
Or some,
Eat well.
or use that juice for some pasta.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think between the 3 or 4 of us, we made almost completely different dishes out of the same ingredients. So
Yeah.
that's and that's okay because that's how we cook.
Yeah. That's how you cook. That's how we eat.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have the final that you wanted to show us, or? I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
put it back on. We've been eating. eating it.
There we go.
There you go.
That's pretty.
So there's the
To the
two different
left.
kinds of shrimp.
Oh, let me move Nikki out of the way here. There we go.
Let me see. Yeah. And then honestly, just enough vegetables for us for dinner. So there won't be anything left after they've all cooked down there.
Cool. All right.
And knowing my family, there might not be any shrimp left either.
There might not be any shrimp.
Thank you so much.
You said you do Facebook Live cooking every Monday. We're at?
On my Rooted in Foods Facebook page
Or YouTube.
or on YouTube, also under Rooted in Foods.
Cool.
You can watch either place and can watch either place on replay if you can't make Monday nights. Would you flip it back to us? Thank you. Basically, what we did tonight is what we do on Monday nights. We start with the drink that matches whatever we're fixing. And
Or close enough.
well, yeah, kind of walk folks through how to do an easy weeknight dinner in not very much time. Typically we go for about an hour, and part of that is because we talk a lot. Most of the meals that we do are 30, 45 minutes, maybe, without talking. This Monday night, we are doing deviled eggs.
Ooh.
The
same thing like tonight. Everybody has the same ingredients and everyone comes out different.
We actually don't share our recipes ahead of time.
We just
don't.
tell folks what we're making, and then provide recipes later on my blog, which is rootedinfoods.com.
Technically, we don't really share recipes as much as we just share ingredients so people can buy ahead of time.
And it all comes out different. And that's kind of the point of cooking, and that's really my point in recipes. And why I hope that people learn some basic kitchen skills, because with that you can do any number of things for meals. But
I never thought of
Deviled
frying
eggs,
lettuce.
Bourbon.
I mean, I've been to a fancy restaurant where they put like the lettuce on the bottom and then they put stuff on top of it to wilt it.
Mhm.
But I've never had straight up fried lettuce. So I'm looking forward to this.
It's good. It brings out a different flavor of the lettuce, and grilling it. So if you've got more of those artisan romaine hearts, grill one the next time you turn the grill on, and top it with some Caesar salad dressing and a little lemon zest, and it's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
When you do that, do you put any kind of anything on it before putting it on the grill, whether it's olive oil or?
Yeah, so I'll cut them in half, and I do this with the regular romaine hearts too that are about yay long. I cut them down the middle lengthwise, and either brush or spritz, if you've got an oil spritzer, brush olive oil on, a little salt and pepper. That's all it needs, really. And then lay them cut side down on the grill, and they'll get that nice char on them. And there's really no need to flip them. By the time they're done, the top's going to be wilted down enough to eat. Yeah.
Nice.
And then when you serve them cut side up, and however you want to serve them, plain or dressed or whatever. But I do that with bok choy also. And
now that I think of it if I think of this lettuce as bok choy, I've done that for years with bok choy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I don't know. I always just thought of lettuce as, I don't know, honestly, a very crappy vegetable just that I don't ever want to use.
Yeah, iceberg isn't great, but some of the darker leafy.
The other lettuce, the good lettuce.
Yeah, leafy green lettuce is really good. Bib lettuce is a good one to use for that. It cooks real quick, so you don't want to leave it on too long.
Hey, what's it say on his apron?
Oh, what the fork is for dinner.
Just like, sounds about right.
I designed that for him for Christmas, and had a buddy of mine over in Murfreesboro at Schwabel Printing print it for me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's the standard now.
Yeah, hers is the Rooted in Foods.
Yeah,
but mine's the what's the forks for dinner.
Yeah, I've got like, I don't know, 10 different aprons, but someone gave me this one for grilling out in the garden. Someone made it. It's got watermelon, so it's my summer one, I guess. So
Yeah.
all right. I'm gonna thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun, as
Thanks
always.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.